Set 12, triad inversions. So, a triad inversion is something you've not encountered, at least in a skill set. You've probably played them in your pieces by now. But an inversion is just where we take a chord, specifically a triad for this exercise, and we put the bottom note on the top. So it's still C, E, G, which is a C major triad, but it's just rearranged. So same shirt, just turned inside out. And this is the fingering in the right hand that we'll use for that inversion. I'll go over the left hand in a minute. Then a second inversion would be where we do that once more. We put the E on the top. So now I have G, C, E. And if I were to invert this chord, this triad again, I would be back to what we call root position. So it's root position, first inversion, second inversion, and then we're going to go back down. So begin by practicing it hands separate like that. So the left hand is a little different in the fingering. C, E, G, C, E, G, and we have a 3 in the left hand. C, E, G, and we have a 2, and then we go back down. So once you've polished it, feel good about it hands separate, then try hands together. Now this is going to be very difficult for most people because of the fingering. This is great, easy, right? But doing this, not only is it to invert it and keep that C-E-G in our mind and to flip it, that might be tricky. But then you're going to have a 3 in one hand and a 2 in the other, and most people, their hands are still at the point where they want to match, and they're going to get kind of mixed up with that. So this is the best way to practice. When you're on the root position, envision your first inversion. So envision your right hand going like this with a 2 and your left hand coming in with a 3, but don't move until you can see it and feel it with both hands. When you can see the notes you're going to play and you can feel the fingers you're going to use, then move. Same thing, you stay here, visualize you're going to be going to a 3 in the right hand, you're going to be going to a 2 in the left hand, and you can see the notes that you're going to use, then you move. Visualizing this next move might be simpler because we're going to root position. And then another note would be to use a roll up, just a slight roll up of the wrists. We don't want to get in the habit of slam, slam, slam. We want, it's healthier for our joints. And it also makes a more beautiful tone. And the last point would be with triad inversions, this is the time to also practice dropping your weight into the keys and playing with strength. You also want to make sure you have a strong 5th and 3rd joint on your fingers so they don't collapse. So I do it very loud and very forte. I've even known teachers to have students stand up so that they can really push the weight into the keys to get the feel for that. Playing strong chords is something that would be important to a lot of repertoire. So I'll demonstrate that. It shouldn't feel painful at all. It shouldn't feel tense. It should just feel strong, and that the weight is flowing down your arm into the keys. Making sure you're seated correctly. If you're too low, it's going to be hard to do that weight transfer, which I'm about right. If you sit up higher, it might be easier, but not too high that you lose that good range of motion with your wrist and the good finger lifts. Okay, enjoy practicing triad inversions.